Hello everyone, welcome to another Upgrade Your OET lesson with me, Sona from Bose Learning. This lesson is going to be focused on OET Listening Part C, and in particular, the presentation part. Remember, you have two listenings to do in Listening Part C. One will be a presentation and the other one will be an interview. This presentation is all about recognising burnout, and it's from Team GP Perspectives on Audio Boom. For those of you who don't know me, welcome to these lessons. My name's Sona and I'm a premium preparation provider with Bose Learning. It's nice to see you here today. What we're going to be looking at in this lesson, how you can use the question stem to help you identify the main point of the question. We'll then take a quick look through the options. I'll give you an opportunity to listen. I'm going to give you some help this time because I'm just going to be focusing on the actual part of the listening which relates to the questions, and then we'll go over the answer. Okay, so the first question is Dr. Alka Patel, and she's the presenter, suggests burnout is. So what is this question asking you to do? It's asking you to find a definition or to pick the best definition from the various options that you're given. The options are that it is a very familiar concept to all healthcare professionals, that it's feeling that more positive aspects of your work have turned negative, or it is not a real condition. So in this case, the options are very different. The main idea here is that it's very familiar. Here it's the idea that everything positive has become negative, and this one suggests that it's actually not a condition at all. Okay, let's listen. Which is the best summary?
Episode is burnout. What started out as important, meaningful, and challenging work becomes unpleasant, unfulfilling, and meaningless. Energy turns into exhaustion, involvement turns into cynicism, and efficacy turns into ineffectiveness. Does that sound familiar? That is burnout.
Okay, so which one is it? Well, it's definitely a condition. She talks about it. She asks you if it's familiar. It's not that it is very familiar to all healthcare professionals, but actually it's option B. So it's the idea that everything that was great about your job has suddenly turned negative. So she talks about it being important, meaningful, and challenging, and now it's become unpleasant, unfulfilling, and meaningless. So all of these positive things, the energy has become negative, involvement has become cynicism. So it's as positive aspects becoming negative, therefore it's option B. Okay, question number 2. The examples of burnout Dr. Alka Patel give us are used to explain that burnout is. Now, what we have to look for here is the examples, of course, but why are they used? What is the reason that she tells us about them? Is it to explain that burnout is similar to stress, but instead of having too much, you have too little? Is it to show us that burnout is exactly the same as stress, and but both expressions can be used interchangeably, or is it the opposite of stress? So here we have that it's similar, it's the same, or it's the opposite. Those are the main ideas. Let's listen.
Viable health condition coded in the ICD-10. Burnout may be the result of unrelenting stress, but it actually isn't the same as stress. Stress involves too much, too many pressures that demand too much of you physically and mentally. Over-engagement. Burnout is about not enough, feeling empty and mentally exhausted, devoid of motivation, disengagement. So how can you identify?
Okay, so which one do you think it is? It's A. It's similar, But she talks about instead of having too much, you have too little. It's not exactly the same, and it's not the opposite, although it may sound like it. So she tells us that it may be the result of unrelenting stress, but it isn't the same. Stress involves too much, and actually, burnout is not enough. So although they sound opposites, they are not the opposite. It's just a different symptom. It's just a different condition. It's the condition of feeling, the symptoms being feeling empty and mentally exhausted. Okay, so according to Dr. Patel, markers of burnout include, so this time we're looking for factual information. What are the markers? Is it having a desire to keep ourselves detached from patients, being a high achiever professionally, or experiencing emotional exhaustion and not being able to enjoy your work? Which one is a marker of burnout?
So, how can you identify burnout in yourself? Think of these three features. One, emotional exhaustion. Do you feel that your sentiments and feelings have become depleted? Two, depersonalization. Are you feeling detached from patients? Three, lack of personal accomplishment. Do you have a low self-sense of achievement and satisfaction from work?
Okay, what did you go for? It's option C, experiencing emotional exhaustion. So she talks about being detached from patients, but it's not about wanting that, it's just become that. And rather than you being a high achiever, it's actually the feeling that you haven't accomplished anything. And that is a marker of burnout. Okay, number 4. If we compared healthcare and other professions, we can see that. So this is a comparison here between people in the healthcare profession and other professions. What are the options? We can see that healthcare professionals are more often blamed, okay, than other professionals, which leads to burnout. We can see that the effects of burnout are much worse for healthcare professionals than for other people, or we can see that more healthcare staff are likely to be affected. So the ends are all the same because it's all this comparison. So the main idea here is that healthcare professionals are more often blamed, the effects are much worse, or that more staff are likely to be affected. Let's listen.
Burnout seems to affect healthcare professionals nearly twice as much as the rest of the working population. The source of burnout can lie within individuals, such as our strive for perfectionism or relying on avoidance as coping strategies. The source can lie within the medical profession, with the conspiracy of silence, the blame culture of medicine, and the ingrained training to put the needs of others before ourselves. And the source can lie within healthcare organisations, with the burden of regulation, changing work environments and organisational structures, and poor leadership.
And it's C again, that more healthcare staff are likely to be affected. In fact, almost twice as many. It's not that it's any worse in healthcare professionals or that they're more often blamed, although she does talk about blame, the blame culture of medicine. It's just that twice as many healthcare professionals seem to be affected by burnout than in other professions. Okay, number 5, the BMJ editorial, Making Doctors Better, said, so we want to know what was their opinion, that in all parts of the world, doctors were expected to achieve more and more, that globally, so again, all parts of the world, globally, around the world, those are all the same, resources for doctors had become better, or that doctors had to deal with more patients than ever before. So we ignore all over the world because that's the same. The main ideas that we're listening out for are either that they were expected to achieve more and more, that resources have become better, or that doctors have to see more patients.
A BMJ editorial, Making Doctors Better, highlighted that the causes are generally the same across the world and include a lack of time with patients, loss of continuity, erosion of amenities such as on-call rooms and doctors' messes, shift systems that undermine traditional peer and senior support, unrealistic public expectations of medicine, the industrialisation of healthcare, turning it into a production line, a growing burden of administrative tasks, and being expected to deliver more with fewer resources.
Okay, what did you get? It's A. Doctors around the world are expected to achieve more and more. The problems are generally the same, being expected to deliver more with fewer resources. Number 6, what tool does Dr. Patel recommend using as a solution? So we're looking for a tool. Is it the 3R approach? Is it finding a more fulfilling balance, or is it increasing pay and rewards?
While helping and caring for others can be extremely fulfilling, it can also drain our emotional reserves. So, what's the solution? The 3R approach to burnout may be helpful here: recognise, reverse, and resilience.
Okay, I think that was quite an easy one. It was the first one, the 3R approach. Recognise, reverse, and resilience. 2 more to go. Number 7, one way to reverse burnout. So again, we're looking for a solution, a way to reverse it, is by changing your lifestyle, accepting that you cannot change the way people make judgments on your lifestyle, or using the acronym LIFESTYLE to help define your passions and motivate yourself.
To reverse burnout, try the Lifestyle First method using the acronym LIFESTYLE. L. Life. Define your purpose and passion in life. Your life purpose is the central motivating aim of your life, the reason you get up in the morning.
Okay, so does she suggest that you change your lifestyle, accept the problems, or try and define your passions and motivate yourself? And of course, it's option C. She does go on to explain all the other letters as well. So I recommend that you go and have a look at this and listen to the rest of the podcast too. Okay, and number 8 then, the best way to find a solution is to use a traditional approach, to use clear and effective messages to individuals, or to direct solutions to the whole industry as well as to individuals.
And resilience. Whilst solutions have traditionally focused on individual doctors and our individual resilience, it is, of course, increasingly clear that effective interventions must be directed at the profession as a whole and at healthcare organisations. A meta-analysis showed that although individual targeted interventions such as mindfulness, stress reduction techniques, and education around communication skills, exercise, and self-confidence did result in reductions in burnout, they worked better in combination with organisational interventions such as rescheduling shifts, reducing workload, and enhancing teamwork and leadership.
What did you go for? It's option C. So it's a 2-step approach, maybe. So tackling individuals with help such as mindfulness classes, etc., but also trying to make the whole industry better. For example, rescheduling appointments. Interventions must be directed at the profession as a whole and at healthcare organisations. So it's a holistic approach. Well, thanks very much for watching this practice with me. If you do want more practice, then please take a look at our other videos. We've got vocabulary, reading practice, speaking practice, there's writing practice too, there's lots on there. And if you want more information about our on-demand courses, then take a look at the information box below where I've got some discount codes for you. Thanks very much for watching, take care and see you again next time. Bye bye.